team in the Big Ten, Indiana, taking on the number 2 team in the conference, Penn State. As you take a look at the Big Ten tournament bracket presented by Discover, Indiana getting by Maryland, Penn State getting by Michigan. And hello, everybody. I'm Dean Linke with former Indiana goalkeeper, the Professor, Chris Monroe. And Chris, here we go with Indiana. They're looking for 6 trophies in a row, and they're looking for more bazookas from Victor Becerra.
Absolutely, Dean. I think the main question this evening is, can the formidable Hoosier defense keep that potent Nittany Lion attack at bay here at Armstrong Stadium?
Victor Becerra, though, 2 goals in the last 2 games of the tournament.
Victor Becerra is finishing, gets the well-deserved spotlight given what he's been able to accomplish, but it's his creativity in the attack, both with runs off of the ball and while on the dribble, that makes him so exciting to watch.
Meanwhile, for Penn State, they are spreading the wealth. Everybody's getting involved.
The Nittany Lion attack is firing on all cylinders, with no better indication of that next man up mentality by these 4 goals with 4 different players. What's even scarier for the opponents is that forward Liam Butts' 2019 first team all-conference selection is getting back to 100% health, giving Coach Jeff Cook yet another option up top.
Todd Yeagley, your back-to-back Big Ten Coach of the Year. Jeff Cook has his team thinking championships. Simply put, on the Big Ten Network, it is trophy time. The Big Ten Men's Soccer Tournament on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Discover, the official credit card of the Big Ten Conference. That is the trophy that's on the line today. Will it stay with Indiana, or will it go back to Happy Valley? As you take a look at Penn State's lineup, it's a 4-4-2, everybody getting involved. Reedy scored, Bloyu scored, Mangione scored, Butt scored, Stevenson's been outstanding. That's the lineup for the Penn State Nittany Lions. And for Indiana, it's a 4-4-2, but it'll change shape with A.J. Palazzolo sitting behind those attacking players. So versatile, he is a winner. And we'll see if Indiana can win their 6th straight trophy. 3 regular season titles and 3 Big Ten tournament titles in a row. Jerry Yeagley Field, Armstrong Stadium, home to the perennial power, Indiana, and Penn State in town with a very impressive 8-1-1. It is worth mentioning, Chris Monroe, that these two did not play during the regular season because of COVID protocols with Penn State. So it's the first time this year that they play. Their last meeting was October 6, 2019, when their all Big Ten center back, Brandon Hackenberg, got a red card in the 12th minute, and Indiana won that game 3-1.
And already you're seeing Indiana's going to look to go wide to guys like Gumbali, Endley, Wittenbrink when he's on the field. Expect for the Hoosier attack to not just come down the middle of the park through Becerra, but also through the wide flanks as well.
And with A.J. Palazzolo in the middle, you talk to King Roby, Kevin Robeson. Tell us what that's all about.
It really just boils down to his flexibility and versatility as a player, given that he can play both up top in the center of the park as an attacking midfielder, as well as a defensive midfielder. Not to mention that at the youth national team level, he's a center back.
Yeah, excellent point. Came in as a highly heralded player, and next thing you know, he was up top, mostly as a 9, but has worked his way back, and just one of those guys that is always in the mix. Of course, who could forget in 2019 Big Ten Tournament Championship game, he took that shot to the head, there was blood, he had the bandage wrapped around, and yet he was out there for the finish that went to penalty kicks and won by Indiana over the Michigan Wolverines. Speaking of the Michigan Wolverines, we'll say it often, we do believe that based on the Big Ten battle-tested teams, that both Michigan and Maryland, along with these 2 teams, do belong in the NCAA tournament. We'll have more on that a little bit later. Indiana in possession here. Tell if Endeley was dumping that or just flat out missed it, but going the other way, they'll play it to Danny Bloyu. What a story he is he was born in Ghana, lived in Liberia until he was 10, came over to the United States and worked his way up, got a scholarship at an Old Dominion through his assistant coach. The assistant coach left. He got cut by Old Dominion. He was going to quit playing soccer, is exactly what he said to me yesterday. And then Jeff Cook saw him in the transfer portal, told him to come here. First team all Big Ten and one of the best players in the country. What a story.
A great story, and just another example of the player-coach fit program being so valuable and so vital to an individual's success. Didn't work for him at ODU. Coach Jeff Cook made sure that when he reached that transfer portal, he knew interest was there, and Blow-U's really reaping the benefits this season.
Both teams feature impact players from the transfer portal. For Indiana, Nick Sessick, a transfer from Pitt, has been wonderful at that right back. A year after Simon Weber, a transfer from Evansville, was pretty darn good for the Hoosiers. Muni. Seth Kuhn, another one who spent a year at Duke, but because of his relationship with Jeff Cook, decided to leave Duke and join Penn State. And the message I was getting, particularly from Danny Blow-U and Chris Shakes on some phone calls yesterday, is Jeff Cook said, come here, we're looking to win championships. We're looking to build a championship culture, and we're looking to do it right away. Jeff Cook's only been there 3 years, Chris Monroe, and he's already playing for a Big Ten tournament title.
It's a testament to not just him and his coaching staff, but also believing, hey, we're Penn State. We have 11 national titles dating way back to the last century, and we're here to build that program back to its former glory days.
It's worth mentioning that Penn State and Rutgers are the only two teams in the Big Ten since the start of the Big Ten tournament that have not won the Big Ten tournament. So Penn State, if they can win it today, it'll only be Rutgers that has not won a Big Ten tournament. This is a big move as well, and you saw it actually in the last game. Nate Ward getting the start ahead of Ben Yeagley. Why Nate Ward?
Coach Yeagley really likes what Ward brings to the table in terms of setting the pace for the team. He's very unselfish in his runs off the ball and his willingness to press when the other team's defenders are in possession. He's going to run them into the ground for the first 25, 30 minutes and start to use then that rotation of front runners that the Hoosiers are very fortunate to have in terms of numbers that they can get on the field at that position.
Sessick looking to find Ward. So additionally, the addition of Ward gives them the presence of two forwards, which you don't always see from Indiana, right? It's normally kind of a staggered and 9 and 10 kind of stacked together.
You absolutely said it, and different seasons are going to have different formations for the Hoosiers. In this sort of scenario, you have the two forwards up top with also the flexibility of Victor Becerra, who can come underneath as a number 10, that sort of free-range floating guy behind that pure number 9. Again, depending upon the circumstances and how the opposing teams line up, that sort of flexibility is definitely an advantage for the Hoosiers.
On fire is Victor Becerra, your Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. Certainly has not cooled down in the Big Ten tournament, coming off back-to-back games with braces. Celentano, his clearance picked up by Penn State. They are so quick, they go the other way. Penn State can strike with so many weapons, and one of the things I like when they do strike is they run their lanes. They run far post, near post, and right down the middle.
Their commitment to off-the-ball running and filling those spaces, those channels, is a hallmark of a Coach Jeff Cook coach team, and you see it right there with Reedy getting into that dangerous spot off the turnover, framing it across goal. Look for Penn State to be tactful and tactical about when they press the Hoosiers, when they're building out of the back. Going to be a fascinating matchup this afternoon.
Pierre Reedy joining Hackenberg and Blow-U on that first team all Big Ten. Chris Shakes, the goalkeeper, second team all Big Ten, which means the two goalkeepers in this championship game are the first team all Big Tenner and Big Ten goalkeeper of the year, Roman Celentano, and second team all Big Ten, Chris Shakes. What's even more amazing, Chris Monroe, is they're both just sophomores.
Extremely impressive, and in the case of the Hoosiers back line, one impressive statistic is that they have yet to give up a goal from the run of play this year. Only 2 goals coming off of set pieces. Penn State looking to change that here.
And delay into Becerra, and Shakes with the save. Becerra, that quick release, forcing Shakes to dive to his left. Goombali on one side, and delay on the other. It'll be a throw in Indiana. Chris Shakes already making a big time save.
Like you said, the quick trigger from Becerra. Shakes' positioning is spot on, and what I love is he doesn't take any chances, make sure that rebound goes wide, away from any front runners who can then poke it in for a rebound.
Bounced up and hit Palazzolo's hand. They play on. Mayer. Jack Mayer, number 2 draft pick for Nashville. He leaves. Joey Mayer comes in, makes the all Big Ten freshman team.
The Mayer pipeline, not too bad.
Daniel Muni, that's a good ball. Becerra heads it down to Ward. Ward running downhill. Ward gets a little space. Nice attack there from Nate Ward, running right at that back line, and they were backpedaling right there.
And part of that came from the fact that great ball into Becerra, who does the one-time header. Like you said, Penn State backing off, giving him that shot from distance, unable to put it on frame. But the Hoosiers are going to like that type of attack that they were able to get just there.
And Chris, that great ball came from Daniel Muni, who is second team all Big Ten. Good to see him being recognized for the work that he does down there. I feel like he's one of those young men that don't seek the spotlight, but he's earning some praise, well deserved. Here's Kuhn, second team all Big Ten as well. Reedy. Kuhn with his right foot. He likes it on his left, but that was not a bad attempt there by Kuhn. Going the other way. Herbert Endelay. Part of the Minnesota MLS program where he has trained on more than one occasion. His dad is a bigwig with United Nations overseas probably right now. Here's Sessick. He'll square it. Palazzolo. That pass not there, but I already like what I see in Palazzolo sitting at that 6. Over the years, Indiana, we talk about left back U, but really at the end of the day, you think about the holding mids that have come out of Indiana, they could easily be called holding mid U as well.
Exactly, a certain someone on the sidelines by the name of Danny O'Rourke, who did some great things for the Hoosiers in the early 2000s, certainly giving him and guys like Joe Schmidt pointers at that position, Brad Rings, etc., through the years, who have been able to do some quality things there in that defensive center mid position.
More of a 6'8" was Aiden Morris, and he was only there 1 year, but you could tell in that 1 year he was a pro already, playing for the Hoosiers. As you see, Roman Celentano, your Big Ten goalkeeper of the year. Every game we do that goes against average just keeps on shrinking.
And we saw it against Maryland. He was called upon more often than he had been in other games, but he was consistent in coming off his line as well as with his shot-stopping ability.
And delay. Looking to be creative on his own. Throw in. Beebe, who was sitting in front of that back line, and then of course the devastating broken leg by first team all Big Ten left back Spencer Glass, as we continue to hope he progresses well and recovers and get back out on the soccer field. So Beebe slides back to that left back. He's not naturally left-footed, but he's done a pretty good job back there.
He absolutely has, and between him and Sessick being willing to get up into the attack, that does create 2v1 matchup nightmares for the opposing side. When they're able to combine in those wide areas and then either look to put service in or switch the point of attack via Palazzolo in the middle, it's a multifaceted way to get at the opposing defense.
Rattled off a lot of those holding mids. Of course, Caleb Porter will go down as one of the all-time greats. It's only fitting that Aiden Morris is now playing for him and was on the field when Columbus won the MLS Cup in the last MLS Cup. It'll be a throw-in for Penn State. Penn State, at one moment of that Michigan game, was having a whole lot of trouble on the outside, and they brought in Adam Laundrie to shut it down, and it worked. But one of the things Coach Cook said is, you know, I still have confidence in both my outside backs. I want to get them right out there again to take on Indiana.
And Awodesu's done great his freshman year. I think the thing in that Michigan game as well is a couple of those guys were on yellows. He had to be smart, and therefore he was able to get more of a rotation than he might otherwise would have.
Yeah, you nailed it. Awodesu and Watson both had yellow. Sessick, good idea, looking for Goombali. And it's Watson who will head it out of there. Sessick will stay with it. Right in front of Jeff Cook and the Penn State coaching staff. How about Jeff Cook saying that essentially every week he has some sort of communication with Bobby Clark? We often reference the Godfather, Jerry Yeagley. Bobby Clark is right up there in that Godfather kind of category for sure.
Unequivocally, and that Bobby Clark coaching tree, which spans not just generations, but also throughout the country, guys like Brian Weiss at Georgetown, I'm thinking of in particular, that sort of legacy that he's been able to create. Not just with his players, of course, and the great teams like your Notre Dames, but that coaching tree is certainly something to behold.
Win or lose, both these teams definitively are in the NCAA tournament. After studying it quite a bit, it is my belief, and hopefully Chris Monroe, you'll back me up here, that Michigan and Maryland also 100% belong. As they finished in the top 4, Maryland, one of the hottest teams in the league to end the season after starting the year playing in indoor and intramural fields. And by the way, Maryland's the only team to lose both their outside backs. As you take the Big Ten battle tested and you look at those records right there, 14 at-large bids for the NCAA tournament. I'm thinking the ACC should get 5, the Big Ten should get 4, and then they'll figure out the rest. Put them in there, Chris Monroe. Get it done.
I think you're spot on, and if I had any power to do so, I'm sure that I would. But I think in all seriousness, the committee has a very difficult task this year due to the fact that some teams played in the fall and spring, some teams played conference only, some team play in addition to conference, out of conference. So it's going to be very tricky for that final selection.
Knocked out of bounds. It'll be a corner kick for Penn State. They're so quick, and one of the keys has been Peter Mangione, the freshman from Hunt Valley, Maryland. He was ready since game 1. He missed a couple games because of injuries and came back and started scoring again.
It's not just that goal-scoring ability, but his work rate off the ball in the attack as well as on defense in pressing some of the opposing defensive players that has Coach Jeff Cook rating him so highly, not just this season, but moving forward.
This is one of the best left feet in the business. Seth Kuhn was trying to find Watson. It'll roll out of bounds, and I believe stay with Penn State on the other side in front of the Indiana bench. Muni knocked it out. Daniel Muni, according to Todd Yeagley, one of the best athletes he has ever coached, and that's saying something. Hackenberg, drafted by Orlando in MLS. That was the other point I was starting to make. Maryland's the only team where their MLS players actually went MLS in both DeRozas. Oh my, Shakes was off his line. They knew Shakes likes to come out, and Shakes comes back with a little smile right there. Chris Shakes, second team all Big Ten. He's shaking his head.
I love it. First of all, the move to get by Riepel is impressive, and then just 65 yards out, sure, why not? Just a little bit less oomph on that shot, and it might have been 1-0.
That was bazooka time, right? Was that not Becerra?
That was Bazooka Becerra. You are correct, sir.
Wow. Victor Becerra feeling it. Who could forget, and granted it's women's, but remember when USA was playing Japan in the World Cup final and Carly Lloyd hit one from midfield and it went in with the goalkeeper falling backward. This was after she'd already scored a couple, and then she hit that bomb from the middle of the park.
You said it. That's the first thing I thought of, actually, in terms of that bomb from that range and that distance. It was, Carly didn't quite have that first juke attached to it, but the ideas certainly were similar.
So the word is Victor Becerra's got a younger brother, Luca, that's even taller and a pretty good forward. Look at this bazooka here.
We talked about his quick release earlier from about 20 out, and that was from about 65 out. I love the, like I said, I love the confidence and the willingness to take that chance.
Have you heard about his brother? I know we talk about the mayors, right? As you got Jack and Joy and another mayor coming up the pipeline. Apparently there's another Becerra coming up the pipeline, and Victor was telling me yesterday he's taller than him already and is a true number 9.
Wow, that's a little bit that's dangerous for other folks to consider, for sure.
And like Victor is part of the Chicago Fire system, which has been pretty good. I do feel like when you talk about the Jeff Cook story on the other side, Philadelphia Union, what an incredible youth program they have developed.
Most certainly, and he's definitely been attached and consistently a part of that for the last number of years prior to his arrival at Penn State.
Loose ball.
Indiana shot by number 7, Victor Becerra.
Chris Shakes, the goalkeeper, actually lived in Florida, which you think about going over to the Orlando MLS team or some Atlanta. He actually chose Philadelphia at 14 years old, moved there on his own to be a part of the academy program. Who does that, right? Moves from Florida to chilly Midwest, right? Pennsylvania. He did it because he knew that's where he could get better, because, by the way, they got Mr. Blake there, they got Mr. Freeze, they got some big-time goalkeepers in that program.
Tomas Romero, exactly, all came through the Union ranks and pushed each other and set examples for Chris to follow, and clearly Jeff Cook, again, reaping the benefits of that.
There's Chris Shakes. By the way, we've been having a lot of fun, Chris, you and I, about Micah Shrewsbury being at the game the other day and whether he would want him to play basketball, and then wondering about Mr. Franklin. Well, Chris Shakes actually told me that he was essentially a human vacuum at shortstop, and then he did say if he got on, he would be at third base in 2 pitches. He stole just tons of bases, and he actually was talking to Coach Cook about walking onto the baseball team. That, by the way, got Nick's aid, as his focus is 100% soccer, but what an unbelievable athlete.
Speaking of confidence, like Becerra, I love that, and just shows, like you said, his willingness to not be shy about his physical abilities, and it does make sense that at this point he's focusing on on being a goalkeeper, and I think given his accolade this year of second team all conference, it's certainly showing the type of progress and improvement he's been able to make.
Indiana, speaking of progress, moving up the field here, and DeLay will bring it back. Now Indiana will switch the point of attack over to Sessing. Sessing. Good defense. I think that went off of Indiana. Will come back to Penn State. Just to put a capper on Shakes, I don't know about you, but I would love to see him play a little shortstop, wouldn't you? I mean, how fun would that be to see him out there scooping up balls and slinging them over to first base?
Exactly. Between that and him smiling all the time and bouncing around, it would certainly be an entertaining one to watch.
Number 18, Ryan Wittenberg, replacing number 20.
So here comes the true sniper of the team. When he comes on, you can expect goals. Ryan Wittenbrink, the redshirt sophomore from Libertyville, Illinois, his goal per minute ratio is off the charts. Has to be one of the best in the country, because it's not like he's running 90 out there, but he is only behind Victor Becerra as far as leading the team in goals.
And Coach Todd Yeagley, what he loves about him is he's probably the best or maybe second best finisher in this Hoosier lineup, but it's his unselfishness, willingness to come off the bench, willing to do the dirty work in that sort of second-hand sweep of guys coming in, and maybe the second part of a half to do that work, run at the defenders, both sides of the ball, that makes him so valuable to this Hoosier team.
Shakes, pings it off of Mayer first, cleaned up by Palazzolo. Palazzolo does enough for Wittenbrink. Now Wittenbrink breaks through. Wittenbrink, what a ball. Right down the middle, Endeley. Endeley's got Gumbali on his left, 5 jerseys in front of him, and perhaps one too many touches there from Endeley.
but you saw it there from Wittenbrink, getting the ball, trying to find an outlet. Obviously, Endeley wasn't able to connect at the end of it, but the Hoosiers, just like the Nittany Lions, are going to be explosive in transition all afternoon.
Reedy. What a leader Reedy has been. Jeff Cook. High praise for the way Reedy has stepped up, and it doesn't end there, though. You start to mix up Reedy in there with Privet and Kuhn and Bloyu and Mangione, and then Stevenson with that engine that feels like there's 10 of them out there. And now with Butch, you mentioned it, having the confidence after getting his first goal against Michigan late in that one. A lot of weapons for Penn State.
And I think that's why we expect today such to be a close affair, right? Both teams have potent attacking weapons and strong, stout defenses.
Mangione gets it back to Bloyu. Sessick is there. Bloyu was trying to earn a corner kick, and he was just a little bit too late. Seven goals and 1 assist for the junior Bloyu. First team all Big Ten selection. And it's not just the 7 goals, it's how he scores them. Getting into space, first timing, playing off of Reedy, off of Mangione, off of Kuhn. His movement away from the ball, phenomenal.
You said it, and being able, the intelligence to put himself in those positions, as well as the unselfishness to do what it takes off the ball to make the runs, knowing that, okay, I might be making a dummy run down the channel for 40 yards, and it's going to free up a Mangione, but I'm still going to do that work and put forth that effort that has this Penn State team doing so well in the attack.
You're hearing the wisdom of the professor, Chris Monroe, former goalkeeper and coach with Indiana. I'm Dean Linke. Chris, 20 minutes remaining. Your thoughts? Let's start with the home team, the Indiana Hoosiers.
Indiana's done well finding spaces ahead of the Penn State back four. Penn State's getting a little bit stretched at times, which is only natural. But that being said, they're also able to counter, just like situations in this one.
Great defense right there by Mayer to slow the attack. One back up by Mangione. Bloyu's got to stay on side. Mangione goes near post. Celentano, I think, got a piece of it. Celentano was leaning the other way and then came back. What an unbelievable goalkeeper, super athletic, good save by Celentano.
We've been talking about Penn State in transition. Mangione's feeling it. He knows he can get there near post. Celentano, like you said, leaning maybe a bit left, but then going right, doing the nice amount of footwork to get down, touch it wide, out for the corner kick.
Two phenomenal goalkeepers, two of the best goalkeepers in the nation. It will not be easy to score on either of them as Celentano just comes out and brings it down. What a phenomenal young man. I had a nice conversation with him yesterday. Appreciate him calling. He's got a brother on campus at Indiana as well that he gets to see periodically. He did say he kind of lets him do his own thing. He does his own thing. They meet up when they need that brotherly love, and then they go about their business. Right side to Sessick. Sessick for Wittenbrink. Chris, going back to that last opportunity by Mangione, but he may get another one here, and then I'll bring it back up again. Sliding in. Kept alive by Penn State. That's Privet. Little nifty move, Mangione. What a pass from Mangione. Mangione's shot, he's only a freshman. He's such a smart player on that last shot. Let's take a look at this nifty move here first, though.
It's the flick over the top by Mangione, just unable to connect with Kuhn, but you saw that in the Michigan game. The ball by Stevenson over to Bloyu that led to the first goal. I think really you have this Penn State team that's firing on all cylinders. Even though that pass didn't connect, love the energy.
Stevenson touch gets away, and Palazzolo is there. What impressed me about Mangione is, as a freshman, his first instinct, his natural instinct, and understandable, particularly because Bloyu's been so hot, was to pass it to him. But Bloyu was offside, so he knew he really only had one choice, and that was to shoot it. and he almost snuck one by Celentano.
You're right. It's the intelligence and the awareness that is what Coach Jeff Cook rates so highly in him, and why he's been able to get more and more minutes as the year has gone on, even with the return to health of Liam Butts. And one thing for us to watch this last 17 minutes or so, the game's getting a little stretched. And what I mean by that is the defenders back deep and attackers up top. Usually you might like to see a space of 35, 40 yards. Already now, Penn State is on their 18. Blowyu's on midfield. Same thing for Indiana.
Wittenbrink over the head of Endelay. Picked back up by Sessick. He'll have a chance to get it right back in there, and he does. No white jerseys there, and cleared out. Look at the battle there between Muni and Blowyu. Blowyu so strong. And Blowyu earns the whistle. Check out the power here of Blowyu.
And that's a perfect example of what Coach Cook said he's done so well this season, fighting, doing a great job of being that hold-up player, holding off strong, athletic defenders like Muni, and then allowing the Penn State back line to get up and get into that attack as a unit.
He did say there's a whole lot of power, a whole lot of muscle behind that 9 jersey. And you certainly saw it there going up against the great athlete in Muni and winning the whistle. Foul on Mangione, undercutting Wittenbrink.
But going back to the game getting a little stretched, it's only natural with 3 games in 7 days that's going to occur. You're even seeing it with Indiana and their back line and some of the front runners being a little bit high themselves. So the ability of one of the teams to find those pockets of space, have unselfish runs off the ball to get some of those 2v1, 3v2 combinations, especially as we get into the last 15 minutes and legs start to get heavier, is going to be an integral part to one of the team's success.
Palazzolo knocked to the ground, but referee says play on, so that's what Penn State's going to do here. Odesu over to Kuhn. Watson. Watson spins around Endelay. Watson starting the attack from the left side. He'll drop it to Stevenson. Watson stays down, now he's back up. Coming in support there is Privet. Standard fare, Chris Monroe, as you know, when we talk to the coaches, I often ask if you were Billy Proctor, our producer, who would you pick to highlight? And he actually picked Andrew Privet. I think his way of saying we need every piece of the puzzle. We just don't need Blowyu and Mangione and Reedy and Stevenson. We need the guys that do the dirty work, and that's Privet, the proverbial piano carrier.
And we talked about Palazzolo's ability to help in the center of the park. Privet's been that utility player for Penn State and added a lot of value to this team in the last few weeks.
Snapped out of there by Gumbali, an ambitious attempt there by Repo, the center back, and just a bit outside.
But that whole spell, the last 60 seconds, where Awudesu and then Watson were able to withstand the IU press, that front-running press, get it to Kuhn, get it wide. Watson then able to get down the line and get that long throw in near the Indiana goal. It's a perfect example of breaking the press and what Penn State needs to look to do more of as they continue this half.
Indiana, a legacy program. You see the 8 stars, the 8 national championships. They have given the Hoosier Army so much to cheer for over the year. You see that 14 Big Ten tournament titles. 16 Big Ten regular season titles, and they're going to need to change the signs again here in Bloomington. It's all about the stars, and they were worth the wait. That 1982 team breaking through, and look at all the Big Ten championships, tournament championships, 18 and 19, the regular seasons. As I mentioned, Indiana going for 6 trophies in a row, counting the regular season and the Big Ten tournament. Third corner for Penn State. Another one for Seth Kuhn. They go short. Get it back on his left foot, far post, and nobody home, so that did not work out. You had mentioned that Thomas Ward was going to be part of the first half plans, and I just saw Kevin Robeson, who you spoke to, giving some direction to Thomas Ward, so I think we may see him. What will he bring when he comes in for Indiana?
Similar to what Ward brought coming and starting out the game up top. A lot of energy, a lot of press, a willingness to stretch in behind the Penn State back line, hopefully for the Hoosiers then freeing up Becerra underneath, because he's been relatively quiet this last 15-20 minutes or so.
Palazzolo and Privet. Palazzolo did enough to get it away from Privet. Now Muni's there. It'll go off a Kuhn. That was all A.J. Palazzolo breaking up that play.
We talked about his two-way ability, whether it is in the back line, in the center of the park, or up top. You saw a great example of that there.
So Ward's going to come on. I got to give the professor credit. He told me that that was going to happen in the first half, and here he is. He's got a chance to just blaze for 12 minutes. That's what he's got to do, right? Just lay it all on the line.
Absolutely. Him and Wittenbrink coming off the bench, looking to bring a spark. We saw Ness come in for Penn State, looking to hold down the center of the park as well. So you're seeing the coaches go to their bench. Again, 3 games, 7 days, NCAA tournament, not for a couple weeks. Good opportunity to get through that rotation to help your guys stay fresh heading into the second half.
Palazzolo keeping it simple. Nice chest trap and gets the offense going. Wittenbrink. Schmidt. Liam Butts, who finally got on the board late against Michigan, and Chris Shakes comes flying out. Liam Butts, 9 goals and an assist, making the first team all Big Ten, and of course the Big Ten freshman team. He was not the Big Ten freshman of the year. That went to Aiden Morris a year ago, or 2019. See Ben Yeagley getting ready to come on for the final 10 minutes and change for Indiana. Ben Yeagley starting that tournament game against Northwestern. Roman Celentano. Like you, a finance and business major. I believe that's what you majored in, right, Chris?
You are correct, sir.
Yeah, so, and he talked about he's going to ride this goalkeeping thing as long as he can, but then when he's done, he's got something pretty strong to fall back on. I like that game plan for him.
He certainly does, and that being said, Coach Yeagley really thinks he has what it takes to succeed at the next level, not just because of his physical attributes, but because his mentality is so strong. Even when mistakes happen, he doesn't get flustered, and that's what it takes to be a fantastic goalkeeper.
Quick throw in here to Butts. Butts, Palazzolo. Mangione keeps it alive. Privet. It's Keegan Ness, I beg your pardon, the redshirt junior from Roseville, California, wearing the 1 and the 6. There's Tiger Evans. He has scored recently. And he is an impact player off the bench for Penn State.
I love his willingness and ability to go forward into the attack, specifically down the left side on his favored left foot. He brings another added dimension of directness to this Nittany Lion attack.
So into the game is Ben Yeagley.
And you'll notice when Yeagley comes into the game, he's going to sit a little higher, more in that traditional number 8 role, and let Schmidt, the actual number 8 on this IU team, sit back in a traditional defensive center mid, that quote-unquote number 6 role. So a little bit of a switch between how Palazzolo and Schmidt were playing, because Ben Yeagley does a good job of breaking balls up, connecting things east and west, which lets Schmidt sit back at that defensive center mid position.
One of the fascinating things about seeing Ben Yeagley out there is it reminds me how great his dad was as a player, and you will never hear that from Todd. But he was a four-time All-American, four-time every single year, was named the Missouri Athletic Club National Player of the Year. During his stint as a student athlete in Bloomington, Todd Yeagley, two-time academic All-Big Ten honoree, and he led the Hoosiers to 3 Big Ten titles in 91, 92, and 94. And as a player, starting all those games, he was 79, 9, and 5. But he wasn't done there. He played 7 years in Major League Soccer. Big-time player. Sessek will square it, and a little bounce right there, trying to find Becerra. It'll be a corner kick, Indiana.
And that was a goal-saving tackle by Riepel. As you see here with the ball going wide, Sessek playing that nice first-time ball in, going down, making sure Becerra's shot isn't allowed to get on frame, because from that spot, he's traditionally deadly. Great work there by Riepel and the Penn State defense to keep this at 0-0.
Riepel saved it. Great call by Chris Monroe, and now Victor Becerra has a chance to use that right foot with the corner kick. Lofted far post, trying to find the head of Mayer, a little bit of pushing and shoving, so it'll come back to Penn State. Without Riepel, Shakes is a big-time goalkeeper, but Becerra is so good at placing it anywhere he wants it. Riepel saving the day there for Penn State.
Certainly not a guarantee that that goal would have gone in, but because he's in such good form and because he hit it so well, the odds were such that it would have come up with a big save from Shakes to keep that out of the net.
Joey Mayer knocked to the ground, so he'll get the call. Whistled against Liam Butts. Goombali, wow, what a move. The fans like it. Goombali, little ankle breaker. Now Goombali dancing with it. Little touch from Schmidt. They'll find Becerra. Becerra gets it back. Oh! Victor Becerra! The Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year does it again.
And dare we say it, yet another bazooka by Becerra, all stemming from Goombali's willingness to get down the right-hand flank. A little bit of combination play, great ball there back by Wittenbrink, and Becerra takes care of the rest with the laser to the near post that Shakes is unable to stop, quite frankly, due to the fact it was that powerful of a volley. Indiana with the 1-0 lead with 5 left in the half.
Over the years, Indiana have had some big-time goal scorers. You think of the Snow brothers right away. Obviously, Ken and Steve Snow. You think of Will Bruin. You think of Eric Zavaleta. Victor Becerra, now 11 goals during this strange season. That is a goal per game. Is that pretty good?
That is not too shabby. And like you said, guys like Ryan Mack, Pat Noonan, Ned Grabavoy, all the way back. Becerra doing wonderful things this campaign to put his name in the record book with guys like that. As this play gets built up, it's Goombali's first touch, able to get around Watson, and then the composure. He knows a couple guys are there. The pullback is the right decision to make. I love Butts trying to get back and break up the play. Becerra, I don't even know if Wittenbrink knows this is going to be an assist, but it bounces off his knee. Becerra's there for the one-time finish, and 1-0.
Hopefully Becerra's okay. Becerra and Todd Yeagley, how about the exchange they had the other day? We might have more on that a little bit later, as Todd Yeagley admitting that he got after him a little bit, and then after he put one in the back of the net, he had one person he wanted to go talk to, and it was Todd Yeagley.
And you love the fight, you love the fire. It looks here, Becerra sort of grabbing his hip, maybe his quad, might have a look at that, but will remain to be seen, probably heading into the second half. Yep, like you said, going down, making sure that there's a medical-related substitution, holding what might have been maybe hip flexor, groin region. So we'll have to see, certainly, as the half finishes, what occurs in the 15 minutes of halftime as to his availability in the second half.
Yeah, you mentioned it's a couple weeks before the men's tournament starts, which will help a lot of teams and a lot of players, including Maryland and Michigan, as Maryland will get back Paul Bend and they'll get back Russell Rowe. Michigan will get back Joel Harrison. And I feel like the committee's got to look at that. And then, if nothing else, the committee's got to look at 2018 when, by the way, 3 teams from the Big Ten made the College Cup. There has to be some merit to that when you talk about Big Ten battle tested. They had no non-conference games. There was no cupcakes. It was just Big Ten versus Big Ten versus Big Ten time after time. And there has to be a lot of weight with that. And then you've got to look at the history of the Big Ten every year having at least one team in the College Cup almost every single season, Chris.
You said it. And I think the fact that Maryland was able to do that sort of a run in 2018 alongside Michigan State and Indiana, which was highly favored, shows that any of these teams that are battle tested, when they get hot, they're dangerous and they can knock off any higher ranked seed.
Well, don't forget Michigan, 3 straight years making the tournament and making deep runs. And I think every year, almost every year, when they do finally get eliminated, it's always penalty kicks, and it's like 50,000 penalty kicks before they finally fall. They've been that close to the Elite 8 and getting closer. Another reason why we think these 2 teams, plus Maryland and Michigan and Maryland, however you want to slice it, belong in the NCAA tournament. Here's Liam Butts.
That's great work there by Penn State and Butts, getting into the channel, knowing that the Indiana outside backs are going to step and press, finding possession there, and then building out.
No corner, no corner.
Tiger. Ripped out of there by Ben Yeagley. Ooh, and Ben Yeagley taken down, knocked to the ground right there by Tiger Evans, and Tiger Evans, fair play, helping Ben Yeagley up.
Bit of an unnecessary foul by Evans, especially after his fancy footwork to get in. Yeagley coming in, taking him off the ball, and then you see there just that little right arm nudge by Evans onto Yeagley, which then sends him tumbling.
That's Ben Yeagley. What a nice touch to Wittenbrink. Excellent awareness from Ben Yeagley. Also coming into the game is Quentin Helmer. Butts checks back. Mangione's still in the game. Butts giving Blow You a first half breather. Repo, who saved one earlier from Becerra, was not able to save the other one from Becerra. Victor Becerra on fire. 11 goals in 11 games. 5 in the last 2.5, and the difference so far, Victor Becerra has the only goal. It's Indiana 1, Penn State 0. Captain Obvious, you certainly hope he is okay, and it's nothing major like you mentioned. We'll see what happens when they come back out for the second half, as Penn State's got time to equalize here. They'll get set. Quickly, Tiger Evans will leave it for Seth Kuhn. Plenty of time to get that cultured left foot on this ball. If you're open, he'll find you. Here it comes, Seth Kuhn, driven in. Hackenberg, now Mangione. Mangione drops it back, deflected around. Hackenberg diving for it, it'll fall, and that will do it. Victor Becerra, your Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year with the 11th goal in 11 games. Chris Monroe, it's 1-0 Indiana on top at the half.
Indiana doing well to build and find spaces in front of the Penn State back line, but as the half progressed, the Nittany Lions were able to attack. They were able to find the ball in the channels with guys like Blow You and Butts holding it up, did a better job possessing. I think Coach Jeff Cook, even with the 1-0 deficit, is going to be comfortable with where his team's at and their prospects of making this a 1-1 match. in the second half.
But they may have to do something no team has done. You already mentioned it, and that is score in the run of play. Your top 2 seeds are the 2 teams playing for that trophy. It's the Big Ten Men's Soccer Tournament Championship game, and it's Indiana 1, Penn State 0 at the half. The Big Ten Men's Soccer Tournament All on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by State Farm. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. You see the 8 stars. Of course, Jerry Yeagley, affectionately known as the Godfather, won the first 6 stars. Mike Freitag won a star in his first season as the head coach, and then the one in 2012 goes to Todd Yeagley and the Indiana Hoosiers. Now the professor gets to be the GM. This is the all Big Ten first team. Who are you moving around, Coach?
We're going to go with the 2-4-4 because Reagan scored so many goals this year and Glass can be a midfielder. So we're going to have Harrison and Hackenberg in the back. We're going to have Wooten, Barra, and Reedy in the center of the park. We'll move Reagan up top with that front line of the 3. I think we're going to win a ton of games and give up a ton of goals.
No, you got Celentano back there. How about this team right here?
I like the way it's set up, 3-4-3. I might move Mutatu wide right, put Barry maybe wide left, but then just for fun and games, I think we're going to put Endelay up top as well.
Former coach with Indiana, now a professor. Crispin Rowe, former goalkeeper with Indiana. We're at Bill Armstrong Stadium, Bloomington, Indiana. The point is there, though, Chris, all of those players, outstanding players and well-deserved recognition.
They've done great this year in crazy circumstances, to say the least, especially with the games coming hard and fast every 4 or 5 days. 3 games in the Big Ten tournament in 7 days. So very much a weird, strange scenario this spring, but performing well nevertheless.
Herbert Endelay back out there to start, and the best news ever is number 7, Victor Becerra, is back out there for Indiana. That is great news.
It is, and you're seeing Gumbali go high with Becerra playing underneath and floating a little bit. Wittenbrink on the left wing. So look again for Indiana to try to stretch the back line, get over the top, but also find Becerra underneath.
Joey Mayer taking care of Butts. They've got Butts and Blow-You out there together with Mangione, as Penn State gonna go for it here. I like it. We were wondering, Chris Monroe, if Butts, Blow-You, and Mangione were going to be on the field at the same time. All 3 of them are out there to start the second half.
I love it because Mangione's so smart to be able to play that sort of number 10, attacking center mid, find pockets. You see him here coming back and collecting the ball. Same thing with Kuhn. Then you have the pace and power and intelligent running of Blow-You and Butts up top. I really expect them to challenge that Hoosier record of not giving up a goal in the run of play this second half.
It's a wonderful point, as Mangione came into Penn State as a midfielder, but Jeff Cook pushed him up top as Liam Butts has been injured most of the season, and it has worked out tremendously. But now with Butts getting back into form, scoring that late goal against Michigan, he has the luxury of sliding Mangione back to perhaps connect the dots to those 2 outstanding forwards.
He does, and he also has the benefit of having Watson out on the left-hand flank. You saw him there at the top of your screen. His ability to bomb up and down that side is going to look to unbalance that right-hand side of the Indiana defense.
Palazzolo slows down Butts, and now it's Mangione to Kuhn. Danny Blow-You ripped away there by Endelay. That's good defense for Indiana.
And if you're Indiana, you love to see that from one of your front runners getting back and taking it off of one of the strikers from Penn State. That being said, now we see Penn State trying to build out of the back. Can Indiana effectively press and look to turn the ball over, forcing those turnovers?
Even with all the weapons that Penn State has, it's not going to be easy. Indiana with 8 shutouts on the season. And keep in mind, they've only played 10 games. No goals allowed since the 24-minute mark against Michigan State way back on March 15th. They come into this game, which also includes a couple tournament games, with 5 straight shutouts, led by that man right there, Roman Celentano, who has been incredible as the Big Ten goalkeeper of the year. And he's got his goals against average now down to .20. When the tournament started, it was .25. He's got it down to .20 with 30-plus saves and all of those shutouts. Incredible work by Celentano. But, you know, when you talk to Todd Yeagley, he says it's everybody in front of him. And you know what? Roman Celentano said the same thing. He actually said that all the shutouts, really, all the credit goes to the 10 players in front of him. And I think he meant it.
I believe that he did, and because he's done a nice job of in the one or two big moments each game coming up strong with the solid save, of course he can take a certain amount of credit for it, as well as the truth holds that that team defense in front of him, especially with the Muni-Mayer partnership, has been so instrumental in that record continuing throughout the year.
A.J. Palazzolo steps up, gets it to Wittenbrink. Wittenbrink's got the assist for the Becerra goal. Wittenbrink takes a shot from distance, and Chris Shakes has it. Wittenbrink, he always puts it on target.
He does, and he loves that little cut back on his right foot inside into the right side of the field. Palazzolo with the great job spraying it wide. You know when he gets at a defender, Wittenbrink more often than not playing the inverted winger position, gonna put it on the right, doesn't quite connect with it as much as he would like. Shake's still there doing a great job holding, making sure no rebound is spilt.
Penn State coming into this game with 4 goals against Michigan, a very good Michigan team that, again, we believe should make the NCAA tournament. Meanwhile, Indiana locked down defensively and then just riding the coattails of arguably the hottest offensive player in the country in Victor Becerra. They do say, you've heard it often, to use the cliche, defense wins championships, and this defense has been rock solid for Indiana.
And it's already helped them win 1 title with that regular season championship, looking to do the double here this Sunday afternoon. And we'll see what happens, obviously, in the NCAAs.
What's even more amazing is they continue to shut out teams without their first team all Big Ten left back Spencer Glass.
We talked about Penn State's next man up mentality. Indiana doing the same thing, converting BB, the traditional center midfielder, into the outside back. We talked about Palazzolo playing every single position except goalkeeper. And so you're seeing it in both teams, the ability to be flexible with not only their formations, but their lineups.
Remember, there's 36 teams that get into the NCAA tournament. We believe Michigan and Maryland will also join. Michigan has been there the last 3 years. Maryland's there every year. Of course, they won the title in 2008 with Indiana and Michigan State also there along with Akron. Michigan has made long, deep runs in the last 3 years as well. And Michigan got off to a great start of the season. Maryland finishing strong, both of them worthy. You look at the ACC, Clemson, Pittsburgh, Wake, UNC. Then you look at Virginia Tech, and then you compare Virginia Tech against a Michigan as Blow-U sends it the other way, or a Maryland, and you ask the question, who would win that game? And obviously here on the Big Ten Network, we feel like we know that answer, but that's what the committee's got to decide. You start to look at the Big East, Georgetown, your reigning champs, Seton Hall, really good. Marquette, are they in? Are they on the bubble? Conference USA, Marshall, and Charlotte. The rest of them, mostly just the champions. Pac-12, Stanford, Washington, and Oregon State are pretty good, but after you do all of that math, even with Michigan and Maryland included, that's 35 teams. That still leaves 1 more team. So to me, that means Michigan and Maryland are in. And to his credit, Jim McElderry at Rutgers, if it was a different kind of season where you didn't have the stop and go, give Rutgers credit for making some noise this year in the conference. Jim McElderry has Rutgers headed in the right direction.
Absolutely, and we're talking about these 4 teams and their context and relation of the NCAA tournament, but I really think all 9 Big Ten teams are poised to do something special in the fall. It just comes down to health and injuries as to whether that will occur.
Indiana with just 1 lonely loss. It's only fitting that in his final season after 20 great years at Northwestern, Tim Lenahan hands Indiana their only loss. And Tim Lenahan, of course, his #1 moment was beating Indiana back in 2004, ending a 50-game unbeaten streak for the Wildcats and springboarding that program.
And not only that program, but really the conference into a different sort of stratosphere with regards to the parity that then began really on an annual basis, not knowing which team was going to win the conference title. Certainly you'd have an Indiana and Penn State in the conversation as those 15 years went by, but each year it seems like there's somebody new coming into the equation, which makes it, of course, for a neutral, even that much more exciting to pay attention to.
Mangione, as Chris Monroe pointed out, now playing more of a midfield role with Butts and Blow-You, the two center forwards. Some contact there, knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Penn State.
You're seeing heavy legs, both sides of the ball, 3 games, 7 days. We don't want to beat it into the ground, but it bears repeating. So I think each coach's use of substitutions the remaining 35 is going to be critical.
Butts.
I think they're calling, I think the linesman raised his flag for offsides, but it was a throw-in. And then I think the ref called it, but really it would have been a quote-unquote foul. I think you had an accidental offsides call there going against Penn State.
Muni. Becerra, long ball to Endelay. Muni is the rare defender that actually makes Blow-You smaller. It's the best way to say it. You know what I mean? I mean, Muni is just a brute back there.
He is, and it's not just his height, but it's his deceptive strength that Coach Todd Yeagley talked about. He doesn't look like the most imposing figure out there, but we've seen him jockey for position with Blow-You all afternoon, and both have done a nice job. I don't think you can say one has had the advantage over the other up until this point.
And with 7 goals and 1 assist, yes, he's 4 behind Victor Becerra, but you mentioned during halftime that if there is a team that can score against Indiana in the run of play, the way Penn State plays, the way they play in those triangles, right, with those one touches between Mangione and Blow-You and Kuhn and Reedy and Privet, I think Penn State is the team that could score in the run of play against this talented Indiana team.
I agree, and I think the ability to have that clinical final touch in the box is what separates Penn State from some of those others.
Beebe making a rare run up the left side. Good to see number 19 do that. I see number 19, I must admit, I think of Reese Buckmaster of recent years, who has had a couple cups of coffee with MLS teams, now playing in USL, but I think as you start to look at expansion, perhaps he'll get another shot to make it back. There is Beebe. I'm looking forward to seeing Trevor Swartz, Chris Monroe. May 8th, North Carolina FC will play John Harkes and North Carolina FC, and Trevor Swartz is on that team.
You're gonna have a front row seat for that action, huh?
Yeah, I really like the way he played. Remember all the assists he had on that big time team?
That loaded team, absolutely.
That was the team that had Muse, Gutman, who won the Mac Herman, Mel, Buckmaster, Frankie Moore, Trevor Swartz, Corey Thomas, Austin Poncho, Jeremiah Gutyard, Griffin Dorsey, Justin Rennicks.
Not too shabby. But when we talked to Coach Yeagley earlier in the week, part of what made that 2017 team so unique is that though they were undefeated, they didn't win the Big Ten Conference title. They didn't even win the Big Ten tournament title, and then made it to that final against Stanford where they lost to a golden goal. And so he's really been preaching these last 3 years the importance of each game in the regular season, because you can't leave points on the table, and clearly that's been taken to heart with how well they've done in 18, 19, and now here in 20.
All right, Chris, as we mentioned, you were a coach at Wisconsin with Todd, and then you joined him when he came to Bloomington. Let's make you beat Coach Cook here, as he tried to have Butts, Blow You, and Mangione together, but he's already pulled Butts and Mangione. What did he see that he didn't like 15 minutes in?
I think part of it's just bodies and rotation, and if he's going to go to them in the last 15, 20 minutes or so, he's got to keep them fresh. Everybody looks a little heavy-legged out there. You know that you're going to get the extra energy and effort from guys like Blow You, who are going to try to run into the ground, but he puts someone in like Stevenson, who out wide can cause Indiana problems. I think had less to do with any failings on Penn State and more to do with a positive rotation, as well as opportunities to stretch the Hoosier defense and try to wear them out over the next 15 or so.
Mazzara. Herbert Endeley. Herbert Endeley keeps it in bounds. Pass to try to find Goombali, kept alive by Beebe, who has been a part of the attack here in the second half. Indiana looks sharp. Staying with it is Sessick. They'll give it back this time to Reaper.
Great piece of individual work here, getting to the end line and then putting it across. Also fantastic work by Penn State to clear it out, make sure that no on-rushing Indiana attacker could put it in the back of the net. Another great opportunity there created by Endeley.
Throw in here for Penn State. Stevenson goes down. I have to take another look at that. I feel like the Penn State bench thought something happened there. Kuhn. Cleared out by Sessick.
We talked about Stevenson's work rate, his ability to create off the dribble and get in runs. I think they were wanting a call because of Palazzolo's right arm that extended a little bit. Maybe Stevenson went down a little easy in an attempt to draw the PK, which I certainly don't fault him, down 1-0. I think a decent no call by the referee in this instance, but certainly a close one.
I've been impressed with Alex Stevenson, the sophomore from Bel Air, Maryland, C. Milton Wright High School. You see that Hoosier Army sign. Cannot wait to the fall, with the assumption that we'll finally be out of this pandemic and the fans will be back. This place will be rocking. The improvements that they've made at this stadium for both teams. The Hoosier Army, they'll be ready to go, right, to help push Indiana to the 9th star.
They certainly will, and it's even nice just to see some semblance of fans returning here today. A welcome sight after the last number of weeks and certainly the last year or so.
Good shield by Penn State. Penn State starting to control more of the possession. Cutting back inside is Reedy. Reedy over to Kuhn. That was a tough trap for Kuhn, and then he gives it away after a wonderful touch to keep it for a moment. His pass wasn't there. Awadesu will get it back now to Privet. Privet goes down. No, they'll say good defense by Indiana. Will go the other way, so Mazzara will start the offense to Goombali. Nate Ward is running right down the middle. Goombali's got Endeley on the far side. He's got Mazzara to his left and knocked away from behind.
And this is where you start to see fatigue come into play, not just with heavy legs, but as it pertains to decision making. Obviously, there wasn't a clear-cut decision to be made on that counterattack, but by slowing up, gave Penn State enough time to backtrack and make that touch to get it away. Going to be interesting here these last 26 minutes or so to see which team is able to withstand those factors and try to push for that next goal.
See limited fans here at Armstrong Stadium, Yeagley Field. Endelay, Becerra looking for a handball as it popped up on Repo. Referee says no. Indiana keeps possession. That's a great ball from Sesic. Mayer. Look at BB push forward now. Endelay, Becerra. Let it fly. He'll get another chance, but right it shakes.
I think we can call that a bazooka, even though it wasn't in the back of the net. You see there, though, Penn State bending but not breaking, giving Becerra the shot from 20, which they'll take, as opposed to something closer in. Indiana unable to capitalize.
Great ball from Reedy over to Privet. Privet squares it. Mayer, excellent job deflecting that and avoiding a corner kick by Joey Mayer. Repo, who we think may have had a handball earlier.
We're going to go in here and see, certainly unintentional. I think the question is, was his arm in a natural position? That's why the ref didn't make that call. Hackenberg doing a great job of blocking the initial one from 22 for the second one. Shakes able to catch that comfortably. Good attempt there by the Hoosiers to make it 2-0.
Becerra, give him just an inch and he's going to get it on frame. Here's Becerra again. Over on his right foot. Becerra. That was a shot. He was shooting right there.
Given that goal scoring record, can't say that I blame him.
Well said, Chris. Gumbali, what a touch from Gumbali. Indiana is in. Back across, and there is Becerra. A little bit too high that time.
You can see they're getting tired, they're getting fatigued. Great ball movement by the Hoosiers on the right-hand side. Perfect through ball by Gumbale, the no look, and then Sesic with the laser into Becerra. Unable to turn it on frame, would have been a very difficult chance to convert. Good opportunity there for Indiana.
Chris, I give Gumbali 5 stars today. You think about the only goal of the game. Without his creative run down that right flank and then staying with it, squaring it perfectly, it's not 1-0. And that little give and goal with that touch right there to Sesic, fantastic.
Not going to argue with you whatsoever. It's not just those individual 1v1 plays, but his unselfishness, getting back on defense, trying to break plays up. He's had a fantastic match so far for Indiana.
Blow you. Can he get open here as they drop it in? It'll go right to Celentano. Danny Blow-You, normally when he scores a goal like he did against Michigan, he would play the guitar. But check this out, after he scores, he told me, he's like, you know what? All my teammates have been helping me. So on the fly, he's like, hey, let's do a picture. Let's take a picture. Come on, guys, get in here. I want to take a shot. They don't know what's going on. Poof, take the shot and celebrate. How cool is that? And delay. He said pretty much every goal this year he's been playing the guitar, but he wanted his teammates, and he told me it was not planned, Chris Monroe. That was solid.
You love it, just because, like you said, it shows how together this team is. They celebrated Butts' first goal after coming back from injury as a unit. Blow-You celebrating with his teammates, just indicative of the culture Coach Jeff Cook is instilling in this program.
I love that celebration. And then as soon as he shot it, they were gone, all of them. On cue. Great work by our Big Ten Network crew throughout the entire Big Ten tournament. Shout outs to all the cameramen and women and everybody for doing wonderful work here as we are halfway through the second half. You see Penn State with another corner kick. Victor Becerra, 11th goal this season, 5th goal of the tournament is the difference for Indiana on top of Penn State 1-0.
Looks like some jockeying, trying to get in front of Shakes and make it more difficult for him.
Shakes. saying it went off the Shakes and come back to Indiana.
I think he's saying Palazzolo might have nicked it out, whether it actually occurred or not. But you see there, Indiana trying to get a body in front of Shakes, make it difficult for him with that in-swinging ball. We'll see here on this next corner if Indiana's able to do something similar.
Yeah, he did not touch it.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think it should be goal kick. We'll see if that comes back to haunt the Nittany Lions.
That's out.
That one he did touch, but he's going to keep it.
Substitution entering the game for the Nittany Lions, number 8, Peter Manzioni.
I did ask Chris Shakes about some of the conversations he's had with the referees on a lot of these games we've been doing recently, and he did say that he's been talking a little bit more than Jeff Cook wants him to talk, let's just say that. And they have not been setting up dinner dates, by the way.
It seems to be a little bit more contentious, but then he flashes a big smile, and Coach Jeff Cook is just like, I can't stay mad at him.
Chris Shakes, like Roman Celentano said, he plans to get his degree at Penn State and then go play pro. But he's going to take advantage of this opportunity to get a great degree and play for a guy in Jeff Cook who is committed to winning championships the way Indiana has always been committed to winning championships.
And still 21 minutes left. Bit stodgy of a second half. You can tell the teams are tired. Not any real clear-cut chances. Penn State is still right in this game. The longer it goes on, 1-0, you know, you just never know if they're going to be able to sneak one in before the death and take this thing to overtime.
Jeff Cook, top shelf coach, top shelf human being.
And what I really like about Coach Cook is that he's always quick to talk about the program and how well it's done, the coaches, Smiling Bob Warming, Barry Gorman, going back to the days of Walter Barr, Bill Jeffrey. His goal is to make the program back at that level, back in those days, and you certainly respect the effort he's been putting in here these first 3 seasons.
Indeed. It's interesting that you mentioned those coaches and then the tie to Philadelphia Union, where he did such a great job working in the academy before getting the bug, I guess, the desire to return to college soccer after having great success at Cincinnati and Dartmouth. Ironically, now leading one of the key reserve teams for the Philadelphia Union is a former Penn State Nittany Lion player, Marlon LeBlanc, who coached for years at West Virginia. And Marlon LeBlanc has a son playing for the Philadelphia Union youth system that understands pretty good. Here's Becerra getting ready to unleash another one. Little fake, so he'll pass it. Unselfish player to find Sessick. Sessick, great defense by Watson, and Watson is knocked to the ground. That's good work by Watson.
Such great work there by Watson. Not only the composure to get in front of Sessick after the deflection, but the little touch then just to get around to Becerra with extremely unselfish play, as you mentioned, Dean. But then Watson using those long limbs and his agility to lead Sessick into fouling him, potentially setting up an opportunity for the Nittany Lions.
Still plenty of time. Danny Blow you, little move! And Celentano's got the near post covered. It doesn't take much for number 9 to find the back of the net. Denied, though, by the Big Ten goalkeeper of the year.
Blow you does a great job of the little shimmy, having it on his right foot and then cutting across into his left. Celentano does a nice job himself, coming out, being big, make sure he can't get beat 5-hole.
Corner kick, Penn State. Celentano struggles with it. Oh, and over the crossbar, heading it and just missing it was Repo. So close, as it was a rare time where actually Celentano looked vulnerable after punching it out.
One of the few you'll see. I think he was asking for a foul, but because the contact was a little bit of a forearm by Blow you, nothing special. I know usually, myself included, goalkeepers don't like ever being breathed on in the box because then that leads to fouls. I think the no call there was actually okay. Indiana might have had a gripe if it went in the back of the net, but they lived to fight another day.
The behind the goal shot, though, showing Joey Mayer. I'm not sure if he was going to get to it or not, but he was pretty close to being able to head that away as well. Good awareness by the freshman Joey Mayer, who, like his brother, plays well beyond his years. Jack Mayer, as a freshman, I would talk to him and I felt like I was talking to a 50-year-old. He's that poised. And that's kind of common with the Indiana character players. Roman Celentano was the same, and to his credit, even with the swag, Victor Becerra was also very kind and courteous with his time.
As well as on the Penn State side, guys like Shakes, guys like Blow You that you referenced. It's very, very impressive about the character that a lot of these guys have on both sides of the ball. Mangione here, again, you can't extend the arms and then not expect to get called. I think it was a bit of a light touch. Maybe if he goes in with the shoulder instead of arm extension, the ref has to make that call there no matter how many protests Mangione makes.
Love that shot of the face of Joe Schmidt, who deserves more credit as well. The redshirt junior from Bainbridge Township, Ohio. Mangione will earn the whistle, as that will go against Quentin Helmer, who continues to get more and more time for Todd Yeagley, Kevin Robeson, Danny O'Rourke, and Christian Lamelli, the coaching staff for the Hoosiers.
They like Helmer's educated left foot. They think he does a nice job of finding gaps and providing the ability to combine short 1-2s in the center of the park to then spring some of the wide guys, as well as try to extend over the top. Good vision, good dribbling ability. A young Hoosier with a bright future, according to this coaching staff.
Muni.
Man!
Blow You. Good hustle, kept alive. Remember that effort. Here's Reedy. Oh, he serves a great ball, just a little bit too far in front of Stevenson. Sessig will let it run out, and now you'll start to see Indiana try to manage these final 15 minutes and change.
You said it though, Dean, that effort by Blow You, that unselfishness. He may not have gotten the ball, but he knows he's going to put in the work regardless. Nudges him off. The smart touch there. Back to Reedy, who serves in a great ball. Stevenson just unable to connect on it.
Kuhn, quick touch, Blow You. Back to Kuhn. Back to Blow You. Extra touch. You feel like one is coming for that guy right there, number 9. Give Indiana credit, though, knowing that he was going to get it back. A white jersey stepped up as he went to receive that return pass.
You said it. Indiana got numbers behind the ball, made sure there was no clear shooting lane for Blow You. But Penn State doing a nice job. They're getting it wide. They're connecting in the middle. Kuhn there with the quick touches. You like that 1-2 combination. Indiana able to clear the danger, but this last 15 is going to be tough for them.
So a yellow card issued to Seth Kuhn in the middle of the park, as Stevenson will come back out. See who came in. Yeah, Butts came in. So Butts is back in there with Blow You to give Blow You some help. Mangione remains in there. So does Reedy. So does the man who just got that yellow card, Seth Kuhn.
And I think, too, there's a chance in this last 15, maybe he gives Blow You a spell with 10 left and then gives him maybe 2-3 minutes, get him back in fresh for the last 6-7, just to make sure that those guys can run to the 90th minute.
Look at this coaching right now. Todd Yeagley, knowing that A.J. Palazzolo will do anything for his team as he puts the team in front of any individual awards. Final instructions from Todd Yeagley. We'll see where he goes, as Indiana's looking at the clock right now, knowing that they're 14 minutes away from winning yet another Big Ten tournament title. Trying to make it 3 in a row to go with their 3 regular season titles. Even off of pandemic, where it's stop and go, there's no action for the Big Ten in the fall. Same story for Indiana.
Penn State doing better this last 5 and 10. It is going to be interesting to see where he puts Palazzolo, whether that is, again, defensive center mid sitting in front of the center backs to give them more protection. Maybe it's in for a Ben Yeagley just to spell him as well. Some interesting lineup decisions here for Coach Yeagley the last 13.
Wittenbrink had an unbelievable touch back to Ben Yeagley a moment ago. That young man never does anything wrong. Look at that. Look at that touch right there from Wittenbrink.
Flashy, but on point, like you said.
Goes through the legs of Helmer, and Repo will use shakes. Ben Yeagley will let it roll out of bounds. Talked about it earlier. We believe the Big Ten will get 4 in the NCAA tournament. These two, Michigan and Maryland. I would not want to face any of those 4. Particularly when you think about that halftime segment with the players of the year, the midfielder of the year, the defender of the year for Michigan. The fact that Maryland's finally going to get everybody back healthy, including Paul Ben, one of the most electrifying players in the country. And then knowing that Indiana's got the offensive player of the year and the goalkeeper of the year. Penn State's got first team all Big Teners and Hackenberg and Blow-You and Reedy. Second team in Kuhn, second team in Shakes. Those are players that belong in the NCAA tournament as Ben Yeagley takes a shot from long distance.
Absolutely, and I think what's so fascinating, especially from a Maryland-Michigan perspective, is as we've discussed, their key guys are going to be healthy at the beginning of May.
That trophy is on the line, and right now, Indiana in control as you see Stevenson back in, and this is now Penn State, I believe, going with 3 in the back to try to go for it for Coach Cook.
I think you're right, Dean. I think they're going to push maybe 2 or 3 guys high in the striker position, a few mids to balance out, and then have at least those 3 in the back.
Wittenbrink, another pass over to Yeagley. Yeagley now to Helmer. These are 3 players that came off the bench and all doing great work. Yeagley's final pass, a little short for Wittenbrink, but cleaned up by Sessick. You can hear Penn State saying, get up. They need Butts to do a little extra work there defensively for sure.
He's tired. He's putting in the effort. I think, too, when they're saying get up, I think they need their backs to get a little higher up the pitch and then try to squeeze Indiana when Indiana has the ball, such that they're not too open and vulnerable to some of those passes in between the lines.
Chance for Roman Celentano to work some of the clock here. Certainly will not be in a hurry. What a season for Indiana. Started the season with 3-0 wins over Wisconsin and Ohio State. Tim Lenahan had a plan, it worked. The game against Penn State was canceled. They came right back with a 4-0 win over Wisconsin, 2-1 over Damon Renzi to Michigan State, 3-0 over Rutgers, revenge match against Northwestern 3-0. They beat Michigan in 2 overtimes, a game actually where Michigan, I think even Todd Yeagley would say, probably deserved better than a double overtime loss courtesy of Wittenbrink. And then 3-0 against Northwestern in the tournament, 2-0 against Maryland. A lot of zeros and a lot of goals for Indiana.
That's exactly what you're looking for if you're Coach Todd Yeagley, and I think you're spot on about that Michigan game. I would say one of the 2 best games in the regular season, the other being that electric 2-2 draw between Penn State and Maryland. Michigan having great success against that Indiana attack and keeping them at bay. Like you said, Wittenbrink able to get that golden goal in Ann Arbor.
I think it's also fair to say that the 4-1 result was not really a 4-1 result. If you remember, Chris Monroe, there was a clear offside that led then to a penalty kick. And here's Blow-You. Blow-You can tie it. Oh, that could be a red card there for Mayer. We'll see what happens there. He grabbed the jersey. Blow-You goes down. It'll definitely be a yellow card. Mayer grabs the jersey. It's a red. So a red card for Joey Mayer. He knew it. Last line of defense. And that will mean he'll have to miss that first NCAA tournament game as well.
You said it, I think, really, again, coming off the turnover, he knew exactly what he was doing. I don't even disagree with the decision just because Butts was trailing Blow-You as well. So Blow-You had the ability to take it at Celentano or pass it off to Butts for what could have been a surefire goal. I think tactically it was the right thing to do. We'll see how these last 9 minutes shape up, though, for 10-man Indiana.
How seasoned is that young man? Just a freshman, a devastating red card, and he was the first one to go to his teammates and say, "You still got this." That says something about that Mayer family. Are you kidding me? You saw how he reacted, right? He went right to his teammates and said, "Hang in there, you still got this." That's right. Mangione and Kuhn. Kuhn's going to take it with his left into the wall. It'll be a corner kick. Corner kick Penn State, as Penn State will play the rest of the game with a player advantage. Penn State women had a player advantage for almost 30 minutes against Iowa, and they were not able to score in the semifinals of the Big Ten women's soccer tournament. Celentano punches it out. Kuhn, loose, and it's in, they tie it! Liam Butts has scored again, and we're tied at 1, and Penn State's got a player advantage.
Go sit down. You're on the bench. Shut the fuck up.
We talked about Penn State's dynamic attack after the corner kick. Penn State able to recycle the ball, making a great job by the Penn State Nittany Lions. Kuhn's ball in the box is fantastic. Blow-You, Butts in there. The poacher, Butts himself, able to get a left toe on it, put it by Celentano. Penn State tied 1-1 with Indiana.
Liam Butts, 9 goals a year ago, finally scored late against Michigan, his first goal of the season, as he's been battling back from injury. It was like he had the world on his shoulders. His celebration afterwards, you could tell he just had that release, and now Liam Butts getting hot at the right time. The red card to Joey Mayer, like you said, something that he had to do, taking down Blow-You. After the free kick from the red card, leads to a corner kick, leads to a goal, and now Penn State will play the rest of this with a man advantage. Mangione knocked away there by Palazzolo. Kuhn right back in. Wow, Blow-You and Butts were both there as Penn State looking dangerous.
Wow, Dean, that could have been the game right there. Penn State finding the opportunity to get the ball wide, just like they did on that first goal. Play it into their 2 big guys in the box, unable to connect. But man, we're gonna have an exciting one here at the rest of the game. That recycling of the ball, yet another ball in by Kuhn. Both of those guys might have been able to have a chance to get ahead on it, unable to connect.
Your heart goes out to Joey Mayer, doing what he had to do. You saw him head off the field after Penn State tied it, though, definitely dejected. Indiana now bringing on Lawson Redmond. There he is. Wow, that says it all, doesn't it?
We see here now Indiana going with Becerra as the lone striker, setting up in more of what looks to be maybe a 4-4-1, maybe even a, let's call it a 4-3-1, so to speak, excuse me, 4-3-1-1 with Becerra there, Yeagley wide, Palazzolo and Schmidt looking to clog up the middle, but again, that's gonna leave Penn State with the opportunity to put in service from some of the wide channels.
Patience here from Penn State. Mangione push it out wide to Awadesu. Couple step overs into the 18. Staying with it. Extra pass, but right to Celentano. That was Reedy.
Again, Nittany Lions getting it wide. Awadesu doing a nice job off the dribble. Indiana has Lawson Redmond in the game. Freshman, left back, they rate really highly, think he has a lot of potential. Due to injury, hasn't seen minutes this year. It's going to be a very fascinating circumstance for him to come in, going to be tested by this Nittany Lion attack.
Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, Victor Becerra, with an outstanding goal in the first half, 1-0. Sent back into Roman Celentano, who finally has his shutout streak broken after seeing Indiana receive their first red card of the season, coming from the most unlikely of players. Joey Mayer, as honest as they come, but like you said, he had to do it, didn't he?
I think so. I understand the line of thinking that, you know, you let him go, you let him take on Celentano in the 1v1 situation because that second Penn State forward was there. I hate to say it, I think a goal might have been assured. So it's the pro and con in the heat of the moment of going down a man versus potentially saving a goal. It just turned out, though, that Penn State, off of the corner and then off of the recycling ball, they were able to get it in the back of the net through butts.
Here in the wisdom of Chris Monroe, Dean Linke with you. It's the Big Ten Men's Soccer Tournament Championship game from Armstrong Stadium, Yeagley Field. And Penn State with a player advantage. They've tied it at 1. Butts scored the goal. He mishit that one, but he's starting to feel it, which is a good sign for the Nittany Lions.
You said it, you're seeing the pep pick up, you're seeing that energy level come to life. Butts and Blow-You were doing so much running ahead of that goal when it was 11-on-11. They were chasing down balls, they were pressing the IU defenders. That press is what led to that initial turnover that sprang Blow-You that then led to the red card. So it's dirty, unglamorous work that wound up paying off for Penn State and Coach Jeff Cook.
So what's the game plan now for Todd Yeagley, Kevin Robeson, Danny O'Rourke, Christian Lamelli, the coaching staff for Indiana? There's 3 minutes and 20 seconds left here in this one. They're down a man. It's tied at 1, which means overtime. Overtime is 2 10-minutes with a golden goal. So are you of the mentality to try to get it to Roman Celentano on penalty kicks, or how hard is it to score a goal down a man against a team like Penn State?
I think the best defense for Indiana, whether it's this 3 minutes, assuming we get to overtime, or overtime itself, is their ability to possess the ball higher up the field. They're not going to dump it into the corner every chance they get. They have to find a way when they get the ball back to be able to then go at it.
Butts to Blow-You. And they'll say off. Perhaps a flag was up, I think. Yeah, offside.
You're seeing it, though. Penn State's going to be able to work the ball around, maybe off by a hair. The fact that Blow-You was off, not Butts. Blow-You offsides. They ruled him in the play, involved in the play, which is why the ref called the going against Penn State. But to your question, Dean, these last couple of minutes, I think if you can in a situation like this, you put a handful of numbers forward. I don't like the idea of maybe pushing everybody forward, which is why you see Indiana with 3 back, somebody in the center of the park willing to clean up balls, just because you can't take the chance that Penn State can break with 4 or 5 guys, which any time of day they're poised to do.
Excellent point as Schmidt hammers one in. All it takes is a little flick here. Shakes, goes down, it's loose. Referee says play on, it's still loose! Oh my! Was there a whistle finally? Yeah, there was, I think. So even if that went in, I do not think it was going to count. Do you?
I don't. I do think Shakes was fouled here. I think it was a clean attempt, but wow, I don't know. It wound up being that Palazzolo got so close to Shakes. I don't know if he really got a full body on him, which is why I think the ref let it play, similar to the Celentano one earlier.
I thought it was a phenomenal effort by Palazzolo. He was way up in the air, even higher than the super athletic Shakes. Watch him get up there, right up there with Shakes, knocked it out of his hand. I don't think that was a foul.
I think you're right. And I think, too, because Shakes climbed over the back of a Penn State defender and not an Indiana attacker, that's why the ref let it play. And then I believe it was a handball as the ball bounced out to about 20 yards from goal that wound up leading to the call going the other direction.
2019, the last time we had a Big Ten tournament, it was at Ludwig Field in Maryland. It was Michigan and Indiana, and they went to overtimes, and then they went to penalty kicks with Roman Celentano making a massive save. And then Josh Penn, who has moved on, playing professionally with Indy 11 of the USL, giving Indiana the last Big Ten tournament title. That was in 2019. That went to penalty kicks. And guess what, folks? 90 minutes not going to be enough. OU helps up the youngster Lawson Redmond. And Chris Monroe, we are tied at 1.
Love it. If you didn't think there was enough drama, well, stay tuned for overtime and a potential golden goal. Both teams doing well this second half. Obviously, the big game changer, the red card for Mayer, and the resulting goal that came from that about a minute or two later. Penn State certainly liking where they're at, not just with the man advantage, but because once they got that man advantage, they were so dangerous. Services into the box, possession in Indiana's half. It's going to be a tall order for the Hoosiers to keep them out in overtime.
Your first and second team all Big Ten goalkeepers could feature as well in overtime or in penalty kicks. Overtime for the Big Ten tournament title on the Big Ten Network. The two best teams in Big Ten men's soccer going toe-to-toe. 90 minutes not enough in the Big Ten tournament championship game as it's Indiana 1 and Penn State 1. So glad to be with you, Dean Linke, with the professor, Chris Monroe. And Chris, a whole lot of drama, including that costly red card.
Wow, just when you thought it couldn't get more exciting, Mayer with the red card, and less than 1 minute later, Penn State getting that game-tying goal to send us into overtime.
Both teams delivering the goods. It was Indiana in the first half. Let's roll the highlights and see the goal from the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year.
Great combination work by the Hoosiers on top of the box. Becerra to Wittenbrink, back to Becerra, who fires the bazooka in the back of the net. Pass Shakes to put the Hoosiers up 1-0. But in the 81st minute, off of the turnover, forced by Bloyu, Mayer deciding to take down Bloyu. I think due in large part to Butts being alongside of him. Tactical decision. Red card, no choice to be given, but we'll see in less than a minute later after a free kick and this resulting corner, the ball gets recycled back to Kuhn, who gets a perfect ball into the box. The right toe of Butts sending the ball into the back of the net, leading to that 1-1 tie that we find ourselves at right now.
Liam Butts took him all season to finally score against Michigan in the semis. He gets his second goal of the season, and you feel so bad for that young man, Joey Mayer, quality human being. And now Todd Yeagley's got to sort it out, playing with 10 for potentially 20 minutes, unless Indiana can score down a man. It's not like it's never been done, Chris Monroe. It has been done, but it is not easy.
You're right, and it has been done, but in the case of this Penn State team, the last 8 minutes they're flying, they did a great job of bending, not breaking that first 81 minutes. Coach Jeff Cook, seen there, has his team exactly where he wants them to be. So if I'm Coach Todd Yeagley, I'm thinking obviously defense first, maybe a 4-4-1 scenario in which I have two center mids, maybe a Schmidt and a Palazzolo, a couple guys wide like a Wittenbrink, maybe a Yeagley again. They give me high energy, press their backs, Becerra up top as an outlet, and then defend with 6, 7, 8 guys and use Becerra as the outlet for when you get the ball back, so you're not defending the full 20 minutes. You're holding the ball, you're advancing up the field, giving yourself an opportunity to possess in Penn State's half of the field.
See the overtime records. Indiana 1-0, Penn State 1-0-1. Of course, Indiana, courtesy of Ryan Wittenbrink, beating a very good Michigan team led by Shaka Daly. a team that we've said several times we believe belongs in the NCAA tournament, and talking about Michigan and Maryland with these two teams. You know the deal, 2 10-minute sudden victory periods. You win, you take home that trophy that you've seen several times during our broadcast today. If you do not score within those 2 10 minutes, we're going to PKs just like we did the last time we had the Big Ten tournament. And that was in Maryland in 2019, featuring Indiana and Michigan. This time, it's Indiana and Penn State on Yeagley Field, Armstrong Stadium, Bloomington.
You're seeing in the center of the park there for Penn State, they have the luxury of having both Mangione and Kuhn who can make themselves available to advance the ball, and that's going to be so critical in this overtime period to break that first line of pressure by a Becerra seen there and then get it wide to the channels to see if they can then find their front runners.
Little give and go here. Privet with Butts. Butts, the hero after OU drew the red card. Butts with the equalizer. This will go out of bounds. It'll be a throw in Penn State. Take me inside both team huddles here before this overtime started. Starting with the team that has 11 players out there, Penn State. What did Jeff Cook say to his team?
We've got them exactly where we want them. We did what we had to do to keep them to only one goal through the tenacity, through the hard work by our front runners and our entire team. We put ourselves in a position to get that one-man advantage, take this time, capitalize on it, be clinical in the final third, and look to end this now, even before PKs.
Todd Yeagley, a national championship coach, what did he say to his team? Down a man.
You wanted this, you're gonna get it. Nobody ever said it was going to be easy, and the fact that you're down a man makes the victory going to be that much sweeter. We're not playing for penalties. We're going to be cautious. We're going to be smart in our ability to advance the ball. Again, we're going to bend. We're not going to break. We're not just going to let them have it in our half of the field. We're going to push them this entire overtime period, whether it goes to penalties or not.
Wow, Professor. I feel like it was Todd Yeagley talking right there. You nailed it. Appreciate it. Butts with some frustration. Basically, I translate that to Jeff Cook saying, let's keep the pedal to the metal. Todd Yeagley saying we can still get this done.
Most certainly, and I think you're seeing it right here. We've talked about Indiana and restarts. Penn State likes to go man-to-man all over instead of a combination of zone and man. Indiana has always thought they've had the edge on restarts, so if they're going to sneak one out here, a first few minutes of overtime, they'll take it, no questions asked.
Chris Shakes.
Come on, one delivery, Vic.
Ready for this corner. You can hear Kevin Roby. One delivery, Vic. Snapped out of there. Alvadeso kept alive by Schmidt. Another delivery, and you can hear Roby again. Another delivery, it's in there. Oh my, what a delivery. Is that gonna be a corner kick? Muni was there.
And I can't quite tell if it hit off of Muni's shoulder. Yeah, I think he didn't connect with it clean. Stevenson does a great job of making it hard for him, but I think it might have gone off a combination of his shoulder and his head. That being said, it looks like Stevenson touched it. We've got another quarter.
Yeah, I do think it hit Stevenson. Good eyes, Chris. And that is the reason Victor Becerra will have another chance to serve one in. Indiana with the service. Far post, Muni's there. Shakes. Caught off balance, and another corner for Indiana. And Indiana, the team with a player down, has had 3 corners in a row here.
When Becerra does the outswinger, he likes to go long far post. You just saw there where Shakes was able to get the game-saving touch to keep Muni from getting on it. With Becerra in the in-swinger, look for him to put it right in there, inside the 6, make Shakes make a decision, see if the big bodies can get on it.
Becerra, the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. Not the best clearance there from Butts as he played it back toward the middle. Here's the speed now of Blow You. Butts is making the run. You're right, Indiana had players back though this time, making sure that Penn State can't counter with all that speed from Danny Blow You.
But that was close. They were able to then advance it. Obviously, Indiana blocked it out for a throw-in. Penn State smart. They're sensing blood. They took the quick throw-in, get it into the corner. Indiana deflection. Kuhn's going to do exactly what Becerra tried to do. Whip one in, keep it away from Celentano, but see if the Penn State big bodies like Hackenberg can get on the end of it.
Seth Kuhn taking the corner. Roman Celentano, who came in last year as the 4th string goalkeeper. Halfway through the season, he was the starter, and now he's the Big Ten goalkeeper of the year, and they'll call that against Privet. It'll come back to Indiana. Could this run to penalty kicks with the top 2 goalkeepers in the conference? Celentano, Indiana, shakes Penn State. Mangione. Kuhn over to Reedy. Reedy so good going right at that back line, and he'll earn a throw in. This is heady times here for Lawson Redmond, wearing number 3. He has not played a ton this year. Ball stays in bounds. Little give and go. Look at A.J. Palazzolo. Fight of A.J. Palazzolo. Think back to all of those bandages around his head. The last Big Ten tournament final against Maryland, Chris Monroe, as he had blood everywhere and still got back in there to finish it off for Indiana.
Coach Todd Yeagley calls him Mr. Hoosier, and it's easy to see why, given what he's done up to this point. Penn State, though, able to connect through Kuhn, get it wide, find opportunities in the channels.
Offside again there for Danny Blow You. Great job by that back line, and now a makeshift back line, right? Because you've got your normal left center back, Joey Mayer, sitting out because of the red card, and yet the communication was solid. They've been able to draw Blow You offside multiple times here.
They have, and credit goes to Redmond, not expected to be in the mix at this point, according to the IU coaching staff, but due to the scenario, moving Beebe to center back and then Redmond to outside back, he's been up to the task so far.
Dare I say, watching this game between these 2 elite level teams, I think offers further credence to the notion that the Big Ten, battle tested, even in a smaller field, deserves 4, not 3, but 4.
I certainly agree with you, and I think, of course, we've had the privilege to watch these teams play all season, and I think now it's a testament. You're seeing how evenly matched these 2 teams are, numbers 1 and 2, and then you've seen the games that some of those other teams, your Michigan and Maryland, Michigan or Maryland, able to play against this caliber competition. It really speaks to, like you said, not just the strength of these top 2, but the strength of the conference itself.
Palazzolo sits out. Ben Yeagley back in there wearing number 20. Long ball, trying to find Butts. Goes right to Celentano.
With the rotation this last minute and a half, and then potentially in the second overtime period, going to be so critical. Getting a Yeagley and a Wittenbrink in there, fresh bodies buzzing around, trying to win second balls. Same thing for Penn State, though. They're having more ability to play in the middle through Kuhn. Now also the wide play with Privet, like you see here. It's going to be a fascinating end.
Evans running straight downhill. Blow You. There's the power of Blow You. Took 3 white jerseys to knock it out of bounds as we are down to 50 seconds left here in the first overtime.
Evans looks fresh, he's sharp, he's running at defenders. I like what he's able to do on this left-hand side of the park.
What a trap by Kuhn, across his body with that left foot. Butts. Now Stevenson. Reedy will roll off. Headed out of there by Muni. Kuhn kept alive. It was Kuhn's busy work that helped Penn State tie it off the corner.
Got to put it in.
10, 9, 8, 7.
Here it goes. Oh my, Stevenson, good idea. Nice shoulder-to-shoulder work from Lawson Redmond, the youngster, and Celentano cleans it up. And after 100 minutes of action now, we still are searching for a Big Ten tournament championship for Big Ten men's soccer. Jeff Cook, assisted by Greg Dalby, Clint Long. It's starting to cool down a little bit as he puts his jacket on there for the final overtime. AJ's talking. What's he saying right now, Chris?
I think same thing Coach Yeagley has been preaching. It's the fact that this is coming down to fundamentals. It's coming down to everything they've worked on. The circumstances are certainly far more difficult than maybe they would have liked, but it doesn't change the end product, and it doesn't change what's going in to this last 10-minute performance. You stay smart, you stay structured, you be smart about going on the offensive, but you don't just sit in for the entire 10. And if I'm Penn State, I'm still on the front foot. I'm having Kuhn and Mangione look to advance it. I'm getting by Becerra. I'm trying to find either butts over the top or blow you in front of the center backs, combine in front of the Hoosier back line, and then go straight to goal.
Kevin Robeson, the fine assistant coach, part of that incredible St. Louis pipeline to the Indiana Hoosiers. Like he was going to go run down that ball, but now the throw in coming for Indiana. That's well done by Muni to keep it in bounds to Sessick.
It is, and what's so important about then getting it east to west is it makes Penn State chase. You have the ability to get a little bit of rest even when you're on the ball, because it's far easier to rest when you've got it as opposed to then chasing the game when they have it.
Overlapping run coming from Indiana, and Hackenberg sends it in there. Again, Indiana playing down a man and got it into the 18. Lawson Redmond, the freshman from Glen Carbon, Illinois, Edwardsville High School. He'll take the throw in for the Hoosiers. This is a good ball, squared. Sessick's got time. He knew what he wanted to do there, just not executed, as he was hoping to get a little cheeky there and place it perhaps upper 90.
Exactly, and this is where 3 games, 7 days comes into play. Those little details, just a little bit getting over the ball. He puts it a little high. Palazzolo did a nice job switching the point of attack and finding him. But again, you've been able to kill now maybe a minute and a half through that possession, getting you closer and closer to PKs.
A.J. Palazzolo with that sliding tackle. Kuhn. Butts. Tiger Evans. Tiger Evans loves to dribble straight downhill. Look how compact Indiana is. That 4-4-1 is exactly what it is.
You hear Coach Jeff Cook saying quicker. He wants the ball moving side to side quicker. Becerra's getting tired, as anybody would. You got to find Mangione, find somebody, make an IU defender commit, and then break.
Here's Kuhn. Kuhn toe! Just a little bit too high for Danny Blow-You, the first team All Big Tenner. Big smile from him. He liked the idea, just a little bit too high.
You saw it right there, able to unbalance by making an Indiana defender step just a little bit too high for Blow-You. But if I'm Coach Jeff Cook, they played the ball quicker. Kuhn got a nice service into the box, unable to connect, but you'll take that over the next 6-7 minutes before the end of the overtime period.
hustle. Now Privet. Off of Palazzolo again. That man is everywhere.
Sitting in, defending the center back, so to speak, being that wall ahead of them, trying to make sure that there's not an easy entry into a Butts checking in or a Blow You checking in.
Wardo, tighter to him, tighter to him. Good. Don't bite, don't bite. Good, Wardo. That's it.
Walking you up to 6 minutes remaining here in this sudden victory second overtime. If we do not find a winner, it'll be penalty kicks to once again decide the Big Ten Tournament Championship.
Like you said, Dean, Indiana getting that block, putting a little bit of pressure out on the outside backs to make it not too easy. Penn State continuing to find Kuhn in the gaps. See if Mangione can't come short, find it in front of Schmidt. Now Hackenberg just taking his space. Good decisions by Penn State to advance it.
2019, as we just showed you, Indiana beating Michigan in PKs. After that one was 0-0. 2017, Wisconsin beat Indiana on penalty kicks 4-2. 2016, Wisconsin also beat Indiana in the semifinals. 2015, Maryland beat Indiana on penalty kicks in the semifinals. Penalty kicks have been a familiar theme pretty much every year. 14 in one of the games, 13. 2012, a rare year where there wasn't penalty kicks when Michigan State beat Michigan 2-1 in overtime. Todd Yeagley looking on. Do they already know the order for penalty kick takers, or is that something that's done after the whistle here?
They've talked about it. They'll have a good idea of who their potential 1 through 5 is, barring an injury at the last moment. They have a good feel. Also, too, one thing Coach Yeagley's always done is asked who really wants to take one, and if somebody's super enthusiastic, he might bump them up in the order, but there's traditionally a good feel for that 1 through 5, maybe a 6 and 7 as well.
Driven in, nobody home. Ward's got to be thinking clearance here. Evans, that's tremendous work.
Wardo, open your hands.
Privet. Stevenson looking for Butts. Celentano gets a piece of it, still alive. Evans will square it back to Kuhn. I do not think Kuhn got all of that, but it'll be a corner kick, Nittany Lions.
Dangerous enough. Again, you keep getting opportunities wide. Penn State's doing a great job getting it at the danger zone. Celentano's strong hand coming out, making sure that Penn State unable to get ahead on it. Great ball in by Stevenson. We see Butts challenging, getting way up there. Evans looking to recycle. Good opportunity still for Penn State coming off this corner.
Clock is stopped with 3:32. Mangione, thumbs up.
Now, Indiana here traditionally likes to do 3 zoning across the 6, a guy on each post, and then you're going to man mark maybe 2 or 3 top options, a Butts, a Hackenberg, see if they can keep it out here.
I don't see an Indiana player on the far post at the moment. Doesn't matter, though. Headed out of there by Indiana. Well done to handle the Seth Kuhn corner kick. Mangione will run it down. Now Evans steps back on it. Denied there by Ward, and the Hoosier fans love it. You feel like Todd Yeagley looked in his huddle and said, give me the 10 guys that want it the most. He thought it was a handball by Blow You. Blow You back across. Privet is there, but they'll call a foul on Privet.
But even still, great work there by Sesic, making sure he's in the right position to keep the bigger Privet from putting that header on goal. You see the little bit of a nudge in his back, which I think is why the foul was called. All credit due to Sesic's positioning there to keep Privet from having an easy chance on the far post.
Transfer from Pitt. Pitt will play Clemson again. to determine who gets the AQ. We have a card here. .230 remaining.
You see Gumbali back in, a little bit fresher, able to get up and down that right-hand side, maybe put more pressure on some of the Penn State wide players to keep that easy service from coming into the box.
Laundry is in now. Hackenberg. Somehow that sneaks through. It'll be a throw-in for Reedy and Penn State.
I like that for Penn State, though. If Hackenberg can get it on his foot and nobody's going to step, he's confident enough with the ball at his feet to drive and then either make that service into the box or combine with a checking front runner from Penn State here in these last couple of minutes.
Stevenson. Foul called against Penn State. Now if you're Indiana, you have to be thinking, let's get this 2 penalty kicks to decide. By the way, the last time Penn State won a penalty kick shootout was against Indiana, ironically. That was way back in 2002. The last time Penn State lost a penalty kick shootout was 2013, also against Indiana. What that tells you is Indiana is always in the postseason because that's the only time you have penalty kicks.
And also the margin for error between these programs over the last 30 years is so slim that oftentimes these games are so close going down to the wire.
Ward. Hackenberg's got to hustle back and give it to Shakes. Penn State, that player advantage. They were able to get the equalizer, but are they going to find the winner? Time is running down. Knocked out of bounds. Will be a throw-in for Penn State. They can get all the numbers forward. They may have one more chance here to take care of business in the second overtime. 30 seconds remaining. Evans is going to leave it for Hackenberg. Now Kuhn.
Got to get it in the box here by Hack.
Hackenberg does just that, but right to Celentano, who's got it. And that should mean we're headed to penalty kicks yet again to determine who is the Big Ten men's soccer tournament winner. And it'll feature your Big Ten goalkeeper of the year, Roman Celentano, first team All Big Ten, and your second team All Big Ten goalkeeper, Chris Shakes, for Indiana and Penn State, respectively. Through 110 minutes and a red card, we're going to penalties to find a winner, Chris Monroe.
We've already seen Shakes and Celentano come up big, not only this game, but all season in shot-stopping situations. If you're these keepers, you love this opportunity. If you're these coaches, you think each team has the better goalkeeper. Going to be a fascinating chess match here in this PK shootout.
Roman Celentano. Christian Lamelli, the goalkeeper coach. Roman Celentano with high praise with how Christian Lamelli trains him every day. He says it's much more than just knocking in balls. It's about the mental part of the game. I like those deep thoughts that Roman said that Christian offers.
Absolutely, and you saw there Lamelli already doing some scouting. He's giving Roman some ideas on which way penalty kicks for Penn State have gone earlier this season, whether it's a Mangione who can put it kind of high into the goalkeeper's right, like he's done against Michigan, whether it's the Penn State-Maryland match when Shakes was making saves. There's always an opportunity to scout and tell these guys, tell these keepers where the shots might go. And from there, if you're armed with that knowledge, you're not going to blindly follow and say, hey, this guy went that way 2 months ago, but you have that in your back pocket. Let instinct take over, and then hopefully find yourself in a position to guess right and make that save.
One tie-in, as you think about it, is Sessick who, remember, played at Pitt, transferred in. He is a Philly Union kid, so he's familiar with a ton of these Penn State players. And you wonder if he'll feed a little bit of information to Roman Celentano, or if you just leave it go. Maybe it's better just not saying anything.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think if he knows someone for sure, certainly doing what you saw Coach Lamelli do there, nudge him, say, hey, here's what I know about this guy. But at the end of the day, whether you're a Coach Jeff Cook, a Coach Todd Yeagley, you trust your keeper. They've saved PKs before, come up big. They want the pressure situation. You know, if your keeper is going to make one, maybe two saves, you've got a great opportunity to come out of here with the trophy.
A coin toss to determine who's going to go first and what goal. A.J. Palazzolo, the captain for Indiana. The Penn State captain, Brandon Hackenberg, first team all Big Ten. The two best teams in the Big Ten. 110 minutes later, we're going to penalty kicks to find a winner. We'll be back to show you those penalty kicks right here on the Big Ten Network. It will take penalty kicks to determine the Big Ten Tournament Championship here at Yeagley Field, Armstrong Stadium. Chris Shakes, second team all Big Ten. With a little prayer before he gets set. Chris Shakes telling me yesterday that he grew his hair because his dad, Rohan, told him to grow it, and then his dad tragically died of a heart attack not that long ago, and he has not cut his hair since. And you know that he was looking for a little inspiration from his late great father. We'll see what happens here as coming forward for Penn State first, Andrew Privet, the sophomore from Boston, Maryland, taking on Roman Celentano, who came up big in the 2019 Big Ten men's soccer tournament, saving a Michigan penalty kick. Privet up first, waiting for the whistle. Privet with the shot, and he skied it. And Celentano did not have to do anything. Privet mishit that entirely.
That's right, Dean. Celentano guessing the right way, which is going to be great for his confidence. Unable to put it on frame. Privet, as you can see, opens his hips a little early, just leans back a little bit, skies it, leading with Indiana getting the advantage here in the first round.
Cannot imagine the pressure right here with that Big Ten tournament trophy on the line. Now Chris Shakes ready to face number 9, Thomas Ward, the senior from Zionsville, Indiana. He has stuck around the program, has been ready for any big moment. Doesn't get any bigger than this to try to win another Big Ten tournament. And Ward strikes it, finishes it. 1-0 through one round, Indiana.
Confidently steps up, the little stutter step might have gotten Shakes to go the wrong way, opened his hips, but then closed them at the last minute to go across his body. Well-disguised penalty kick, 1-0 Indiana.
Well taken by Ward. Celentano back in there. Now it's the first team all Big Ten transfer from Old Dominion. Danny Blow-You to get one, and it's denied by Celentano. Two opportunities, one went high, Celentano with the save, and that's the Big Ten goalkeeper of the year, stopping one of the best attacking players in the league.
Almost like he immediately knew which way he was going, got a great jump on the ball, went low, Blow-You goes low, able to stay on his line right until the ball was struck. Critical in this day and age with goalies being called for going off the line too soon. Good work there by Celentano to make that save.
Joe Schmidt, redshirt junior, Bainbridge Township, Ohio, to make it 2-0 through 2 rounds, and he does. Wow! Smoke show from the spot, and Schmidt with that fire in his eyes.
What a great PK by Schmidt. Shakes has it read all the way, unable to get there through no fault of his own. It's the height on this shot that makes it impossible for Shakes to save.
Number 8, Peter Mangione.
Steel eyes of Schmidt, and the confidence there of Roman Celentano. Penn State, they have to get one here. Mangione ready to go for Penn State. Peter Mangione, and he puts that one in. So Mangione, the freshman from Hunt Valley, Maryland, pulls one back. And he'll go have a talk with Chris Shakes.
We saw him do it earlier in this tournament. What a bomb. No way Celentano or any keeper in the world is saving that. Struck cleanly into the corner, high enough, out of reach. Great work there by Mangione.
Victor Becerra will go third. Scored a goal in this one. 5 goals in the Big Ten tournament. 11 goals in 11 games. Becerra! And Shakes guesses wrong. Becerra shakes it off, and 3 up, 3 in for Indiana.
And what's so tricky about that, Becerra has gone to the left earlier in the season in the run of play. He switches it up here, maybe knowing that scouting was going to take place, disguises it, opens his hips just at the end to know that Shakes is going the other direction and in the back of the net.
Seth Kuhn. It's 3-1. If he doesn't score here, it's over. Seth Kuhn, and he keeps Penn State alive. 3-2. Indiana with a chance to win it here.
And I love this from the leader. You know Celentano's been guessing left or right each time up to this point. There's a good chance he's going to do so again. You put it down the middle. Make sure Penn State lives to fight another round.
Next up for Indiana is number 12, Quinton Helmer.
How about this? Quinton Helmer, the redshirt freshman from the Netherlands. He's been playing a lot here late in the season. High praise from Todd Yeagley, and to win it for Indiana, denied by Shakes, and Penn State is still alive.
At the end of 4 rounds, it's Indiana 3, Penn State 2.
A great PK by Helmer and an even better save by Shakes. He reads the body language, sees his hips going to the left, gets a nice jump on it, able to comfortably make that parry wide of the frame.
Huge stop from Shakes to keep Penn State alive. Penn State now sending Callum Pritchett forward. Pritchett, and that is it. Indiana is your Big Ten tournament champions. Ride that bike, Roman Celentano. 6 straight trophies for the Hoosiers.
And Indiana wins by PKs.
What a phenomenal save by Celentano. Hard to overstate how difficult of a save that was to make. The ball was placed into the lower corner beautifully. Look at this stretch. Full extension, one palm, ekes out off of the post, and Indiana wins the double.
For the 3rd straight year, they win the double. As you said, how about the power of that left hand of Roman Celentano? Victor Becerra, the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, with a hug for Roman Celentano, the Big Ten Goalkeeper of the Year. Heartbreak for Chris Shakes, but both these teams we will see in the NCAA tournament. The 2 best teams all year. Indiana wins another trophy. The Indiana Hoosiers are your Big Ten men's soccer tournament champions.
Penn State, nothing to hang their hat on. They fought their hearts out. They did extremely well in that second half to withstand the Hoosier attack, get the goal after the red card, make it to penalties, where Roman Celentano, Big Ten Goalkeeper of the Year, proved to be just a little too much.
Todd Yeagley, your back-to-back-to-back Big Ten Coach of the Year. There's Spencer Glass, First team all Big Ten left back with that broken leg, hopping around on one foot with the trophy. Raise it up, Indiana, like you always seem to do. The third consecutive double championship in Indiana, your 2021 Big Ten Tournament champions.